What is going on, guys? Quality XA here today, and today I'm bringing you guys a brand new video on Destiny 2. Now today we're actually going to be rounding up all of the information from this past week, so I'm not going to hold you back. Let's get right into this. So first off, we actually have a DLC 2 leak. So as you guys can see on screen, we have this leak image here, but you guys can see the Destiny 2 expansion 2, known as the Fallen Warmind, for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. It also has a release date here of the 8th of May 2018, which definitely isn't too far away, and they did obviously say that this DLC was going to be pushed back into May, so very interesting indeed. We do also have a description for this DLC, which sounds pretty cool as well. So as you guys can see, it says Destiny 2 Expansion 2 The Fallen Warmind continues your Guardian's adventure with all new story missions and adventures set in a new destination, Mars. Rasputin has mysteriously vanished, and Ana Bray has returned to the Last City, warning of a dark uprising on Mars. Discover the conspiracy behind his disappearance, prevent the rise of a corrupted Warmind, and uncover the truth behind the collapse. Explore Mars and the deep stone crypt beneath its surface, new story missions and adventures, new themed weapons, armour and gear to earn, new cooperative activities, new competitive multiplayer arenas, and more. So it sounds pretty legit. This is definitely the more legit that we have seen. I definitely think the Destiny 2 God of Mars actually sounds like a much better DLC. But hey, what does the name mean when it comes to DLC? So it does look like the most possible DLC at this point in time is this one. So expect Destiny 2 Expansion 2 to be called the Fallen Warmind. But do take it with a pinch of salt, because it is not 100% confirmed as of yet. This is just a leak. Now moving on, we're going to be talking about some of the buffs and information that we have rounded off this week. So moving on, first we have this from Cosmo. So he said, give the Hardlight the ability to switch energy archetype just like the Borealis. And he says, sure, let's do it. This change is actually part of the exotic weapon changes we have planned in 1.2.0. We've had it built and already been playtesting it. We'll be sharing more details on exotic weapon changes sometime after 1.1.4 launches. Really awesome indeed. Now, I have to admit the Hardlight is possibly one of the more pointless weapons in the game at this point in time, but adding the effect to actually switch the archetype might make it very usable, especially when you come up against some different certain strikes where you can just switch it over really quickly, and it will just be pretty cool and very useful for that weapon, and like I said, make it more viable. There was also some reactions to that message on Reddit, so somebody actually replied, what are you guys going to do with the Borealis then? If anything, giving one exotics another's ability is kind of crazy. And Cosmo replied, we have plans to make it more exotica. We've also more info on exotic changes after 1.1.4 goes live, so expect some changes for the Borealis as well. It's definitely needed, as this person says, if the Borealis is losing its single ability, then it kind of makes it not as good as what it should be. It don't feel exotic. Moving on to some other weapons, we did get this from DMG on Twitter. He said, been using this in some playtests, so satisfying to proc Dragonfly with the up and coming changes in 1.1.4. TomCom11 is a beast with it. Now someone replied, I love this, thank you to whoever put it together. However, still didn't answer the questions about bloom on console or how much damage the 180 RPM precision hand cannon will do after increase. It currently does 47. And then Kevin Yanes replied, does about 50 HP. This means you can 4-shot Guardians under 10 resilience. Now, this sounds pretty awesome indeed. I have to admit, the hand cannons aren't the best at this point in time. There is a very select few that are pretty decent, but I do believe we need more of a variety. I love using hand cannons. I just wish there were a lot more better ones. But it does look like they are updating some of them, such as this one. Really awesome indeed. Next we have this about cooldowns. So someone tweeted to Josh Hamrick, I know you stated mods will lower cooldown of abilities up to ×2 while stacking 3 of them. Mods like melee ability, one's only got 2 slots and not 3. Josh Hamrick replied, depends on your subclass, I believe, but yes, we haven't updated the actual mods available at this time. So it does look like the mods are going to be changed around, and he does actually bring up quite a good point here, so very interesting indeed. Next, we actually have about the roadmap. So Carlos Valentino said your roadmap is looking good so far. However, instead of removing the radar in comp/trials, I propose you limit the range of the radar as a whole for all PvP playlists. I believe the radar's range is the problem. Removing it altogether feels counterintuitive. Thank you. They keep throwing away baby and bathwater. And Josh Hamrick replies, we played that for a while. It feels broken when you see someone closer to you than you would expect, but your tracker is telling you no one is there. That being said, like I said in the TWAB, these things are a step forward and not the end. Let's play it and live it and go from there. Narrows replied, the solution to that problem is fixing the radar. If I can see a player in there within a double jump distance from me, they should appear on the radar. If they don't, that is a bug, not an enhancement request. And Josh Hamrick replies, I feel like we're saying the same thing. We felt like we didn't have enough room to do both. Shrink range enough to allow flanking, and now the radar feels broken. Extend the radar enough to feel right, and now you struggle to flank. Now, they do bring up a good point here because it sort of is backwards and forwards. You're definitely going to satisfy some Crucible players, but then you're going to unsatisfy others. It's very unfair with this. Maybe they may have to, in future, release game modes that are like hardcore, so where you can actually have radar off or radar on. We'll just have to wait and see what they do, but I'm a big fan of having radar and I really wouldn't like to see it go. We did also have this about the radar. Hi Josh, speaking of the radar, any thoughts on the speed in which the radar comes back after ADS? Seeing so slow to come back lends to the feeling of slowness in the play. The Destiny 1 speed felt fine. And then Josh Hamrick replied, not looking at the changes with that at the moment, but everything is on the table at some point or another, and you're welcome. So it's definitely actually noticeable when you actually compare seeing the radar on Destiny 1 to Destiny 2 after zooming out of a weapon. You noticed in Destiny 1 it did come up considerably faster. So it is actually a change that is needed in my opinion, but it's definitely not essential. We'll just have to wait and see with that one. Next up we have this from Cosmo, and he says, thanks for the suggestion. It's a bit different than most of our feedback I've read. Seems like the two most popular suggestions right now are change it to 4 slots or make it like Destiny 1. I've been letting the team know that the community still really wants to see changes made to the weapon slots and keep sending them your feedback. Now what he's referencing here is the weapon slots. Obviously in Destiny 1 you had one kinetic gun, then you had one which was obviously your special, and then the last one was your power ammo. It was pretty awesome and it worked really well. Obviously they changed that in Destiny 2 where they made you have 2 primaries and 1 heavy. We'll just have to see what they do, but 4 slots sounds pretty cool. Next up we have this from Cosmo. He said, we've seen a lot of requests for a private test realm type system for playtesting future changes early. I've let the team know that the community is very interested in participating and asked them to look into possibly implementing something in the future. Really cool indeed. That would definitely help if the community could get access to these private test realms, which would allow the players of Destiny to play the game and suggest some changes as well as all that other jazz. Would be really awesome and very helpful for the team as well. Next we have some news about Golden Gun. So somebody says, can we please revert the duration of Golden Gun back to 12 seconds? Cosmo replied, I'll make sure the Sandbox team sees this request. Thanks for the suggestion. Now that's definitely a change that I would agree with. I definitely think 12 seconds is a fair amount, especially considering when you do run out, it is a bit of an annoying thing. But again, we'll just have to wait and see with these changes, because I do think the Gunslinger is a pretty good class at this point in time, and we do know that they are reworking some of the subclasses. Next up, we're going to be talking about the faction rallies. So, Bungie Informer tweeted to DMG, the next faction rally will be the last time to earn Season 2 ornaments according to the TWAB. But will base armor persist into Season 3, or should we also go and grab any base armor we need or want in this next faction rally? And James Baker replied, what about the losing faction weapons? Will we not get a chance to get those? Then Cosmo replied saying they will be added to the loot pool when Faction Rally starts up again in Season 3. So don't worry if you don't have all of them Faction Rally or weapons, you will be able to get them at some point, which is definitely really handy and really helpful. Again, it just adds more loot, more stuff to grind for if you didn't get them in this season. Really awesome indeed, and it also allows you to go for them Season 3 stuff as well. So don't feel disheartened if you currently do not have all of the Faction Rally stuff. Next up, we have some news about some Nightfall Strike unique rewards. So DMG said, seeing some of the folks who want Nightfall Strike uniqueness to be a surprise in 1.1.4. And then somebody said, sound off, do you want a preview or do you want to discover these rewards after March 27th? So keep an eye out for DMG's page. He may actually post a secret reveal. We'll just have to wait and see about that as per usual. But I'd like to see a sneak preview, maybe one piece of gear, as in like a piece of armor and one weapon. That'd be very cool indeed. I just don't want them to reveal too much stuff before this actually arrives, but like I said, we will have to wait and see about that one. Moving on, we actually have this post on the TWAB, and it says, starting March 27th, the weekly Crucible playlist will become available to all. This playlist will contain Rumble, Mayhem, 6v6 Iron Banner to start. Here's a calendar of what you guys can expect on these game modes to appear through the week of May the 1st. So it says March 27th Rumble, April the 3rd Mayhem, April the 10th Iron Banner, April the 17th Rumble, April the 24th Mayhem, and then May the 1st we have Iron Banner. Really awesome indeed. There's definitely a load of stuff to participate in, and it's going to keep me playing the game personally. I really like seeing this kind of stuff. And then last but not least, we're actually going to be covering this picture from Nvidia. Now, as you guys know, Nvidia have actually had this partnership with Bungie where they've been saying that they've got the best graphics card to play Destiny on. Now, as you guys can see, this person here is playing on a PC. If you guys look at that PC, he's actually playing the Crota's End raid, which is very weird because Destiny 1 is currently not on PC. So this has sparked some rumours that Destiny 1 could possibly be coming to PC. Now that would be really awesome and definitely something I'd grind and play, but we'll just have to wait and see about that as per usual. And it is very interesting. I'm a bit starstruck if this does actually become true, but let me know your thoughts in that comment section below. But yes guys, that's pretty much the video. If you did enjoy it, like is much appreciated. Sorry it did drag on a bit, I just wanted to cover everything in one video. But as always, peace out, and I hope you enjoyed.